Your name is being whispered in a dark meeting room tonight. What they plan will shock even your enemies. Archangel Michael says, the night is heavy with tension, and a name echoes through a room filled with shadows, your name. Curtains are drawn, lights dimmed, and voices hushed, but behind the silence is a storm preparing to erupt. What they plan in this moment could shift the very ground you walk upon. You are not supposed to know, but heaven heard it first. A secret meeting, hastily arranged, gathered not by accident but through intentions wrapped in disguise. Your energy has reached even those who pretended to forget you. Among them are faces you once trusted, eyes that once softened at your kindness. But now, behind those eyes is an agenda shaped by envy and cloaked ambition. They speak with twisted tongues, and your name is not mentioned in praise tonight. A document lies on the table, one that carries the weight of betrayal. They are trying to move something important with your signature printed without your consent. If this goes unchecked, even your enemies will blink in disbelief at the scale of what's being attempted. Type Amen to get blessing 333. Outside that room, someone paces nervously. He wasn't supposed to be part of this meeting but was dragged in because of what he knows. He's been debating for days whether to warn you. Tonight, he might finally break the silence that could save your future. Your actions have rattled a hidden order, a circle of influence you didn't realize you interrupted. The blessings coming to you were supposed to be passed to someone else, but now they believe you're a threat to their rituals of control. One voice in the room wants to stop you permanently. Another is calmer, dangerous in his silence. He doesn't need to speak often, his nod is enough to direct action. His fingers traced the rim of a coffee cup as he instructed someone to dig deeper into your past. Type Amen to get blessing 444. Archangel Michael says, these whispers are not greater than divine protection. Your name is written in light even when they attempt to drag it through the mud. You are chosen, and they can't cancel what heaven has already anointed. There is a printout of your photograph from 2 years ago, marked in red. They believe you saw or heard something you shouldn't have. That night you casually walked past a hallway may have placed you at the wrong place at the perfect time. One woman in the room is angry, her jealousy runs deep. You reminded her of who she used to be before corruption took her heart. Instead of learning from your purity, she plans to ruin what she can't imitate. They've assigned roles, one to smear, one to lure, one to monitor, and one to distract. Every piece of the plan has your name written in it like a target etched in secrecy. But their biggest mistake is underestimating what has already been revealed to your spirit. Type Amen to get blessing 555. The man in the black coat carries the final folder, the one they all stand to see. It contains your addresses, recent activities, even times you go online. The obsession is deeper than revenge, it is fear disguised as dominance. But one of them is not fully committed. His eyes shake slightly every time your name is spoken. He sees your face in dreams, and it disturbs him, because in every dream you're standing in light, and he's behind glass, screaming for help. There's also a child in the dream, pointing at him and calling him, the liar. He hasn't told anyone yet, but this has happened 5 nights in a row. What he doesn't know is that his soul is being warned. Meanwhile, someone you don't even know is preparing a file in your favor. He sits across the city in a studio office, printing documents and making calls that will form a shield around you at the right time. He doesn't need to know your full story to feel your innocence. Type Amen to get blessing 666. One person in the dark meeting room used to be your friend. Their betrayal cuts the deepest because they know your soft spots. But they've convinced themselves that if they don't act against you, they'll lose everything they've built on shaky ground. They brought a legal consultant into the room, whispering about public exposure and a case setup. A forged email will be sent in your name within 3 days if their plan continues uninterrupted. They're moving fast because your energy is rising too quickly for them to block. But they don't know a divine hand already shifted the trajectory. The document they plan to leak has been intercepted by someone on their own team. That person is spiritually indebted to your light and has vowed silently to return your favor. Archangel Michael says, the meeting room may be dark, but every shadow will be shattered by divine truth. Their timelines are collapsing, and the more they conspire, the more exposed they become. Heaven doesn't sleep, and neither does justice. Type Amen to get blessing 777. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $20. There's a recording device under the center table, placed there by one of the new interns. He was instructed to remove it, but he felt something inside him say, "Leave it." That recording will be the crack in their plan. You will receive a strange email soon, don't ignore it. It will come from an anonymous sender who claims they saw something. That message will contain information that finally links 2 of the people in that room to a case you had forgotten. The floor beneath them will tremble not because of your retaliation but because of truth's arrival. The truth never needs backup, it walks alone and still silences armies. The fire of your innocence is purifying the air around them. Type Amen to get blessing 888. One of the women tried to tamper with your photograph using AI to frame you. She spent hours crafting a false identity online, making it seem like you were part of something dark. But the platform she used glitched right before she pressed publish. That glitch wasn't a coincidence, it was a spiritual interception. A digital angelic force shut down the account for a security violation. She now paces in confusion, thinking someone in her team is betraying her, but it's heaven dismantling her pride. Your name has power, and that power doesn't bow to shadows. When they whisper it, they invoke a frequency they don't understand. That's why even in their darkness, they tremble. The room is no longer united. Tiny cracks of disagreement are forming. One man accused the other of mismanaging the risk. Their unity was only ever built on mutual fear, and now that fear is turning inward. Type Amen to get blessing 999. An old message from a year ago is about to resurface. It will vindicate you beyond your imagination. Someone saved it quietly, not knowing it would be the shield you need now. The timeline has shifted in your favor. The forces of evil tried to calculate the hour but misread the divine interruption. Their plans are melting like wax under fire. Someone in the room is shaking now, she's getting a text. It's from the man who was too scared to speak, and now he's done hiding. The message says, "I'm done." She needs to know. They'll try to destroy that phone. They'll try to frame him for disloyalty. But that message has already been forwarded to someone you trust without even knowing it. Type Amen to get blessing 1010. A hidden camera they planted will be discovered tomorrow. And when it is, it will lead to the unmasking of the one who authorized it. That person's entire influence will collapse like a house built on illusions. The building where they met tonight will experience a sudden shutdown, electric short-circuiting the following night. No one will be hurt, but the message will be clear: you cannot plot darkness and escape the light's attention. Archangel Michael says, your silence has more weight than their loud lies. You walk with a force that stirs even the hidden spirits. That's why they fear what you haven't even done yet. They don't realize the more they try to bury you, the more they expose themselves. Every whisper is actually a confession being recorded by the divine. The war is not in your hands, it's already being won above you. Type Amen to get blessing 1111. Another man at that table just spilled his coffee. It seemed accidental, but his hands haven't stopped shaking since your name was first spoken. Deep down, he knows what they're planning is not just immoral, it's dangerous for his own future too. He remembers when you helped him once without needing anything in return. That memory is now haunting him while he watches others tear into you. He keeps glancing at the door, as if expecting someone to walk in and stop this. But no one stops the storm when it's still in disguise. Instead, it's allowed to form, to grow, until it consumes itself. That is what's happening to them now. They're feeding the fire that will soon engulf their own lies. Type Amen to get blessing 1212. Your phone will vibrate at 2:42 a.m. tonight. It will be a simple message: they know your name. You won't recognize the number, but something in your heart will understand the warning is real. That's because a man who was present in the dark meeting slipped away early and made a choice that changed everything. He remembered what his grandmother once told him about betraying a kind soul. And he chose not to betray you, even if it cost him his career. A flash drive with recorded audio will soon be anonymously delivered to someone in law enforcement. That file will become a key to uncovering layers of deception involving multiple individuals, including someone who smiled in your face recently. Even your enemies will stop in disbelief once they realize who was behind the worst part of the plan. Not because they care for you, but because they didn't think even he would go that far. The real betrayal will not just break hearts, it will silence many mouths. Type Amen to get blessing 1313. Someone is trying to book a flight tomorrow morning to leave the city. He's one of them, young, impulsive, but highly skilled at digital manipulation. He thinks he can escape before the evidence reaches your hands. But a delay has just been placed on his ticket due to technical issues. He doesn't know the airline operator who flagged his passport works for someone who once owed you a favor. The gate to his escape just closed without warning. Meanwhile, your image is being passed around in that room. They're dissecting your every move, trying to predict your next step. But the one thing they can't anticipate is divine reversal. What was meant to harm you is about to hand you keys to something much greater. A grant. An approval. An invitation. They'll watch it on TV and try to pretend it's not about you, but your name will shine anyway. Type Amen to get blessing 1414. Archangel Michael says, they tried to speak curses over you in secret, but your spirit is wrapped in heavenly fire. You are not vulnerable the way they believe. You're protected by something they cannot imitate or penetrate. One of them even tried to reach out to a spiritual practitioner to confuse your path. But what happened instead was that the practitioner refused. She said, I can't touch that one. They're already marked by light. The person who made that call is now being avoided even by their inner circle. Their energy has turned chaotic ever since they tried to send darkness in your direction. That's what happens when curses return to sender. You'll notice someone around you suddenly distancing themselves in the next few days. Don't chase them. They were warned in a dream to step back from your journey because the next blessing is not meant to be shared. Type Amen to get blessing 1515. The dark meeting was scheduled to end within an hour. But it extended much longer than planned, because of constant arguments among the conspirators. Some felt it was going too far. Others insisted you deserved it. But their disagreements turned into personal attacks, revealing deep mistrust between them. This is the unraveling, the beginning of their end. What they tried to build through lies is now collapsing under the weight of ego and confusion. Outside the building, a car waits with someone who was paid to follow up after you. But he's beginning to second-guess everything. A call he received earlier from his daughter left him shaken. She described a dream where the fire came down and burned the bad men. One final recording will surface. It will reveal laughter, your name being mocked as they clink glasses together. That recording will become public through a divine mistake they made. They forgot to log out of a shared account. What was said in darkness will now scream in the light. The universe has decided your name deserves to be purified. And the fire of truth will do exactly that. The attack was never about you, it was about what you carry. You are a vessel, a carrier of destiny, and they tried to pierce the armor of purpose. But they failed. Archangel Michael says, prepare for the unexpected elevation. You're not just surviving this, you're rising because of it. Let the whispers echo, because what's next will be too loud to ignore. Type Amen to get blessing 2020. The moment is coming closer when your name will be broadcast in a way they never wanted. It will no longer be whispered in rooms of darkness, it will be declared in places of honor. They will watch in silence as everything they tried to block comes flowing to you like a river. There's an award, a recognition, or a high-level approval that has been circling your atmosphere. It was delayed intentionally by a person in that dark meeting room, but now it is coming through from another route. They didn't expect a second channel of grace to bypass them. Their failure will be poetic. Every tactic they used will be exposed one by one, and even their own supporters will begin to doubt their version of events. The house of deception they built with whispers will fall under the weight of truth's thunder. Type Amen to get blessing 2121. Right now, someone is praying for you and doesn't even know the full situation. They just feel an urgency in their heart that something is happening around your name. That intercessory energy is creating an invisible wall between you and the chaos. The man who left the meeting early has saved the final copy of the document. He placed it in a USB drive and secured it in a location where he knows it will reach you through a safe hand. He no longer wants to carry the burden of their evil. He's not a saint, but his heart is turning. And because of that turn, a new gate is opening for him too. The moment he decided to stop hurting you, divine mercy was extended to him also. Another woman in the meeting tried to curse you under her breath. She didn't realize she uttered those words directly under a ceiling light that began to flicker. That light will be her first warning that not everything unseen is silent. Type Amen to get blessing 2222. When you walk tomorrow, you may feel strange eyes on you. That's because one of the watchers from their side has been assigned to gather more updates. But don't worry, what they gather will only serve as proof of your integrity. They hope to find scandal. Instead, they'll find growth, goodness, and grace around you. Their own report will backfire, becoming a testimony of your elevation. A news story will appear soon, exposing corruption in a nearby business. What they don't know is that their dark meeting was indirectly tied to this operation. As one investigation grows, another will unfold in its shadow, and it will touch the people from that room. Everything is connected. What they thought was a small betrayal will trigger a collapse they cannot reverse. Their arrogance has blinded them to how closely justice has been watching. Type Amen to get blessing 2323. Archangel Michael says, your enemies will be confused not by your strength, but by how you didn't need to fight back. Your stillness is speaking. Your silence has become your greatest sword. Someone in that meeting used your kindness as a stepping stone and is now regretting it. They'll soon attempt to reconnect, but this time, you'll feel the shift. You'll know who they truly are. Be mindful of strange conversations this week. People may approach with half smiles, pretending to care. But their eyes will twitch when you mention certain words, because their loyalty was never real. You've outgrown the rooms that planned your downfall. And now, the invitation will come for something higher. You are rising, not because they allowed it, but because they couldn't stop it. Type Amen to get blessing 2424. You'll be surprised who sends you an apology. It won't come with a long explanation, but it will carry a sincere weight. That apology will be part of your full circle moment, where closure meets clarity. A phone call is coming, someone will say, "Are you sitting down?" The news they give you will be so powerful, it will bring tears to your eyes. Not because of pain, but because of divine justice. Someone tried to claim what was yours. They altered files, created lies, and even paid others to support their false story. But the one thing they couldn't erase was the light in your name. A file that had been locked away in a corrupted system is now being restored. That file proves your truth, your credibility, and your timing. Once it's opened, even their closest allies will step away. Type Amen to get blessing 2525. They underestimated your capacity to survive. They expected you to collapse. They didn't know you were chosen to rise after the collapse. That's why the whispers in the room are getting louder. They're afraid now, because nothing they said came to pass. You're still standing, still glowing, and still about to receive what they tried to withhold. Tomorrow, you will sense a shift in the air. It won't be visible, but it will be undeniable. You'll feel lighter, as if a spiritual knot has been untied. That's because the plot they created has finally hit a wall. Their momentum is gone. They are panicking, editing, deleting, and distancing themselves from each other. Type Amen to get blessing 2626. Your dreams have been warning you, and now you know why. That vision of a locked room, of people pointing at papers with your name, it wasn't fiction. It was divine foresight. What they spoke in hushed tones has already been overturned in higher realms. Their whispers cannot override what heaven has already declared. You are divinely secured. One person who once admired you is in pain because they were pulled into this by force. They didn't speak up. They stayed silent. But now they can't sleep. Tonight, as they replay what was said, they'll decide to step out and speak. Their confession will be the first domino to fall. Once they come clean, others will follow. Type Amen to get blessing 2727. They will watch you on a platform they tried to block you from. You will be interviewed, applauded, respected, and they will pretend not to see it. But their silence will scream louder than any public reaction. People around them will notice their discomfort. They'll ask, "Weren't you against this person?" And the traitors will not know how to respond. The whispers will turn into stuttering. The lies will unravel. And the audience of heaven will clap louder than any earthly applause. Archangel Michael says, "You did not fight them, you simply stood still." And because of that stillness, the storm is now fighting itself. Their darkness has devoured their own light. Type Amen to get blessing 2828. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $20. They met in darkness, but you were met by angels. They spoke evil, but the heavens spoke restoration. They planted traps, but you walked through every one unharmed. Now the reward is arriving. Not just material, but spiritual peace. A level of honor that cannot be stolen. Soon, people who believe the lies will come to you with heads bowed. And you will smile, not to mock, but because you knew all along. Grace will rise where gossip once ruled. Remember this, your name carries thunder in the realm of truth. When spoken with honor, it opens doors. When whispered in betrayal, it burns the tongues of the wicked. Type Amen to get blessing 2929. Let them whisper. Let them gather. Let them plan. Because their time is up. You are not afraid. You are not confused. You are not defeated. You are walking into a destiny they could never delay. You are rising in silence, clothed in fire, protected by divinity. And all the darkness in that room? It's crumbling now. Let the next chapter begin. Let justice walk in fully. Let your name shine like never before. Type Amen to get blessing 303.